Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, find those crucial nuggets of knowledge. Today, we're going to try and cut through the clutter, really explore Marie Kondo and her, iconic KonMari Method. We've all seen the videos, I think, heard the phrase, does it spark joy? But our mission today is to, go a bit deeper than that, to unpack the philosophy, the practical steps from the life-changing magic of tidying up and see what it really means for your life. What are those implications?
Yeah, you've hit on something key there. It looks like just a tidying guide on the surface, right? But Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, is really more of a blueprint for transforming your mindset about your stuff and, potentially your whole life. It's got roots in Japanese traditions, mindfulness, think Shinto maybe, but it presents this very systematic, almost ritual-like approach. And that core idea, keep only what sparks joy, that's what made it feel so, revolutionary. It definitely wasn't just another organizing book. It really did spark a global thing.
Oh, it absolutely did. And Marie Kondo herself, she's not just, an organizing consultant anymore. She's a cultural phenomenon, almost like a philosopher of personal space. Mm-hmm. How did that unique mix, that blend of spiritual mindfulness and very practical steps, how did that catch on so strongly? Because they seem kind of different.
Well, I think that blend is the genius, really.
Yeah.
She started helping clients one-on-one with their homes. And she saw pretty quickly the issue wasn't just, too many things. It was the relationship people had with their possessions, often tangled up with guilt or attachment or just not being able to decide. So her method isn't just about getting rid of stuff. It's about making decisions, finding clarity. It is systematic, yes, very clear steps. But each step has this mindful quality, like treating objects with respect. And I think that's what really set it apart from the usual, just toss it out advice. That's what resonated and led to the books, the Netflix show, everything.
Okay, let's dive into that specific idea then. Tidying as a transformational ritual. Because most of us, let's be honest, see tidying as a chore, right? A battle you never quite win. But Kondo frames it almost like a spiritual path. What's going on there? What's the mechanism she claims leads to, like mental clarity, emotional healing, even those big life changes people talk about?
It's fascinating, isn't it? She basically argues that your home mirrors your inner state. So if your space is cluttered, your mind probably feels cluttered too. Makes sense intuitively. By tidying systematically, you're not just clearing shelves, you're practicing making decisions, you're facing attachment, you're getting clear in your values. It's like this cognitive workout, but applied to your socks and books. And that exercise, it trains your brain, trains it to make clearer decisions elsewhere too. That's why you hear stories about new jobs, better relationships, more confidence. People have built up that decision muscle and they know what they actually value.
That really does make sense when you put it like that. Okay, so how does she guide you? It's not just a free-for-all clean your house instruction, is it? There's a very specific order, a category system.
Exactly. It's category-based, crucially, not room-based. Because you need to gather all your clothes, for example, in one spot, from every closet, every drawer. That way you really confront the sheer volume and you can make comparisons. And the order itself is really important. It's designed to build your skill, your intuition for what sparks joy. You start with clothes, generally less emotional baggage there, then books, then papers, then comes kimono, that's the big miscellaneous category, kitchen stuff, gadgets, bathroom things, those junk drawers.
Right, the everything else drawers.
Exactly. And then, only at the very end, you tackle the really tough stuff, sentimental items, photos, letters, keepsakes.
Okay, let's talk about that central question. Does it spark joy? I think that's where a lot of people get intrigued, but maybe also a bit stuck. How does it actually work, especially for things that are just functional, like, I don't know, a hammer or my tax files? Do those spark joy?
Yeah, that's a really common question, and maybe where the method gets slightly misunderstood sometimes. It's not about feeling like giddy happiness looking at your tax return. Of course not. For functional items, sparking joy is more about, does this thing serve its purpose well? Does it make my life easier or better in some way? Do I feel okay, even good, about owning and using it? So you hold the item. Does it give you any kind of positive feeling, usefulness, maybe comfort? Maybe it's aesthetically pleasing, or yes, actual happiness. If yes, keep it. If no, then you thank it and let it go. It's much more intuitive, more feeling-based than just asking, have I used this in 6 months? That's the big difference. It reconnects you to what actually serves your life right now.
And that bit about thanking it for its service, that also feels quite distinct, very tied to the cultural background you mentioned.
Absolutely. That practice of thanking items, even the ones you're discarding, is deeply rooted in Shinto beliefs. Shinto often views inanimate objects as having, well, not exactly a soul, but a purpose, a spirit perhaps. They deserve respect. So thanking them isn't just being polite, it's acknowledging their role, however small, in your life. And crucially, it helps you let go without feeling guilty or wasteful, which is a huge block for so many people when decluttering. It turns letting go into an act of gratitude, not negativity.
Okay, another big claim, maybe one of the boldest, is tidy once, not daily.
Yeah.
I can almost hear listeners thinking, especially if they have kids or busy lives, seriously, is that even possible, or is it just aspirational?
Yes, that one gets a lot of reaction. And it needs a bit of clarification. Kondo is talking about a single major tidying event, a marathon really, not something you do every Saturday afternoon. Her idea is that if you do this intense category by category, joy-checking process properly once, the shift in your mindset is so fundamental. Your relationship with stuff changes so much that you simply won't let clutter build up again in the same way.
So it's about prevention.
Exactly. You've learned what brings you joy, so you become way more intentional about what you even let into your home. Now, obviously, for families with young kids or life changes, some ongoing maintenance is needed. You still need to put things away. But the goal is to eliminate the need for constant, large-scale, soul-crushing tidying sessions. It's about getting ahead of it through intention, not just reacting to mess.
Right. And talking about putting things away, what about storage? All those lovely matching boxes and containers we see everywhere. Where do they fit in? Kondo has a definite take on this, doesn't she?
Oh, she absolutely does. And it's critical. Storage solutions, containers, organizers, they come last. Only after you have finished discarding. That's a huge mistake people make, right? They buy more bins to organize the clutter they already have. Kondo warns strongly against that. You're just hiding the problem, not solving it. The KonMari Method forces you to deal with the excess first. Decide what sparks joy. Let go of the rest. Then, and only then, you find a simple, effective, maybe even joyful home for everything that remains. You might find you need much less storage than you thought.
So as we're kind of wrapping our heads around this, it feels like there's overlap with minimalism, obviously, less stuff. But is the KonMari Method essentially just another name for minimalism, or is there a key difference?
That's a really important distinction to make. While using the KonMari Method often leads to a more minimalist outcome for many people, it's not the same thing. Minimalism often focuses on reducing the quantity of possessions, sometimes aiming for a specific number or aesthetic. KonMari isn't about getting rid of as much as possible just for the sake of it. It's about keeping everything that genuinely sparks joy for you. So if you're a passionate book lover and you have 300 books, and each one truly brings you joy when you hold it, Kondo says keep them all. It's about intentionality and curating your life to be surrounded only by things that positively resonate. The goal is joy and authenticity, not necessarily scarcity.
That focus on joy really highlights its strength. So looking back at the book and the method, what specifically makes it so impactful? Why did it resonate with millions?
I think there are a few key reasons for its power. First, the core philosophy, spark joy, is simple, right? Easy to grasp, but incredibly profound when you actually apply it. Second, it's really emotionally empowering. It gives people a framework to deal with difficult emotions tied to stuff, guilt about gifts, attachment to the past, even self-worth. Third, there's that cultural depth we talked about, drawing on Japanese aesthetics, Shinto ideas. It feels different, more holistic than just efficiency tips, which leads to the fourth point. It promises this holistic transformation, not just a tidy house, but potentially a clearer mind, better decisions, a whole life shift. And finally, it's just widely applicable. Tiny city apartment, big family house, even your office desk. The principles work.
Yeah, that makes sense. Of course, nothing's perfect, and KonMari has definitely had its critics too. What are some of the main challenges or downsides people bring up, and, how fair are they?
Well, some people definitely find the tone a bit much. A little too mystical, maybe. The anthropomorphism, talking to your socks, thanking your purse, can feel strange if you're not used to that Shinto-inspired perspective.
Right.
And yeah, that tidy once claim, as we discussed, can feel unrealistic or even pressure-filled for people in certain life stages, like with small children. Applying spark joy to purely practical items also trips some people up initially, though I think that's often about understanding the nuance we talked about now. Joy can mean usefulness and appreciation too. But honestly, while those critiques exist, I think they often point to aspects that might need slight adaptation for an individual's life, rather than fundamental flaws in the core idea. The central message about choosing intentionally based on joy and respecting your belongings, that remains incredibly powerful and practical, even if you skip thanking your cheese grater.
True. And despite any critiques, you really can't deny the impact Marie Kondo has had. It went way beyond just a book.
Oh, absolutely. It was a genuine cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of copies sold, translated everywhere. It launched TV shows, a whole industry of certified KonMari consultants, countless hashtags, and social media trends. But more importantly, I think it tapped into and amplified a wider global conversation about intentional living, about conscious consumerism, even about sustainability, thinking about what we own and why. It proved that something as seemingly mundane as tidying could actually have this huge societal ripple effect.
So for you listening right now, maybe feeling a bit buried under stuff or just really curious after hearing all this, who is this book really for? Who should seriously consider reading The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up?
Well, definitely anyone feeling overwhelmed by clutter, obviously,
Yeah.
or just feeling swamped by consumer culture in general. Also, people who are looking for more emotional clarity, maybe feeling stuck and wondering if changing their environment could help trigger a bigger life change. If you have any interest in mindfulness, minimalism, or just Japanese philosophy and aesthetics, you'll find a lot to appreciate there too. Really, it's for anyone who likes practical step-by-step guidance, but also wants that deeper emotional and philosophical layer. Someone looking for more than just organizing hacks.
Okay, let's try and boil it all down. If you could give our listener just a few key takeaways from this whole deep dive, what would they be?
Right. First, tidying the KonMari way isn't about achieving some kind of sterile perfection. It's about aligning your personal space with what genuinely brings you joy and serves your purpose right now. Second, don't underestimate the power of decluttering your physical space. It really can act as a catalyst for significant, sometimes unexpected life changes. It clears mental space, too. Third, try to cultivate respect for your belongings. They aren't just things. They represent choices, memories, values, your past and present. Thanking them, even mentally, honors that. And finally, maybe the biggest takeaway, you're not just organizing your life with this method. You are actively designing it. By consciously choosing what to keep, you're deciding what energy, what focus, what values you want to carry forward.
That's a great way to put it. Our final verdict on the life-changing magic of tidying up. It is so much more than a cleaning manual. It really is a life philosophy cleverly disguised as a home organization guide. With those clear steps, the emotional intelligence woven through it, that spiritual undercurrent, it offers this really personal journey. Rediscovery, joy. The results can be genuinely transformative. It's easy to see why it holds that strong 4.6 out of 5-star rating. So here's a final thought to leave you with. If Marie Kondo is right, if transforming your physical space can unlock clarity and change in your whole life, what one area of your environment, maybe something small, something you overlook every day, could you bring that intentional, joy-sparking attention to starting today? And what bigger, maybe unexpected ripple effect might that single shift create? And if you enjoyed this, please do like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in.
And we look forward to having you join us for our next deep dive.